What up, what up, what up, everybody? What's popping for the day, man? What's cracking? What up, what up, what up? Big news coming out, y'all. Big news coming out. Hit that like button if you can hear me, man. Drop me a comment if you can hear me. Let me know what's popping with everybody. Everybody doing? Wasn't even a few hours, man. We just went live last night, and a few hours later, all the news drops. Give a few minutes for some people to come through. Man, big news going on with Pacquiao right now. Big news. I can't wait for him to drop what's going on. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna get ready to get started, man. I'll wait another 30 seconds, see if anybody come through. What up, what up? What up, what up? Hit that like button as you come in, man. Leave me a comment if you can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me, man. Hit that like button for me. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds, man. Try to see if anybody comes in. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Let me know who's in here. Who I got in here right now. What's up with you, man? What's up with you? Big news going on with Pacquiao right now, man. Got a couple articles I wanted to touch on, and who his potential fights might be. Just break it down a little bit. I just did a video. If you ain't checked that out, I guess I'll probably be on live for a little while, so you can go check that out. Somebody hit that like button for me, so you can let me know if the stream is cool, if the sound is good, you can see me, you can hear me. I'd appreciate that. Drop me a comment or something just to let me know, man, so I can go ahead and get started. I guess I could just check and see on my side. Hold on. Okay, y'all can hear me. Alright, so I checked, y'all can hear me. Alright, y'all. So we got 3 or 4 people in here right now, man. So I'll go ahead and get started. Big news coming out right now around Pacquiao. I woke up this morning, there wasn't no news out yet. I got on the normal sites I get on to check and find out what the news is. And there were no news headlines, but there was a Twitter post that I found from Pacquiao, one from Pacquiao and then one from Fox Sports PBC. And they both were saying the same thing, so I knew it was real. And it basically stated that Manny Pacquiao has started his training for his next fight, and he will be announcing who his next fight is any day now. Now, it might be this week, it might be today, it might be later on today, it might be tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's going to be before the end of the week is out. And I'm leaning on that April, beginning of May date. That end of April, beginning of May. May 1st, probably Derby Day, is more than likely the day we're going to see Manny Pacquiao make his return to a boxing ring. As far as who his opponent's going to be, I want to save that for a little later. I appreciate you hitting that like button for me, man. Drop me a comment, y'all. Let me know who's in here. So, I was going through those articles earlier, and I finally found an article. Somebody finally put out an article about what's going on. Got an article from SB Nation. Manny Pacquiao announces start of training camp. Return details still unknown. So I'm going to touch on that in just a second, but I just want to talk about, I had found some videos like we was talking about last night. I don't know if any of y'all were in here last night. But we were talking last night, and I had found some training videos of Pacquiao training around the Philippines and training at home. And he actually looked spectacular, man. He looked like he was in awesome shape. His speed looked like it was there. His power looked like it was there because he was hitting. Appreciate you, Caps, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man. What's good with you? I'm pretty sure you done heard the news going on right now. It hasn't fully broke on YouTube yet. I'm surprised that everybody's not reporting on it yet. You know, only one I saw report on it so far was ES News. And as soon as I saw he had posted something, I went ahead and posted my video. But I saw him Pacquiao training around the Philippines. He was around his house. He was running through the Philippines. He was training with a strength and conditioning coach. I don't know exactly who it was. It might have been Justin Fortune, but he was in the background and he was kind of blurred out, so you couldn't really tell who the strength and conditioning coach was that he was training with. But he looked spectacular. Power looked like it was there. Speed looked like it was there. As far as what I'm normally used to seeing from Pacquiao in training. Then I met up with a guy through the WhatsApp. You know, I don't want to put his name out there, but Caps, you talked to him too, and he told me that he speaks Tongolese. I believe that's what it is. Well, he speaks Filipino, and he said he was watching the Philippines news. And Pacquiao has stated that he was going to announce his next fight this week. What up, Red? Was tuning in last night, too. That's what's I remember. Necessary. I remember, bro. Appreciate you for coming back through, man. Big news going on right now, bro. But anyway, he said that Pacquiao had stated on the Philippines news that he was going to announce his next fight this week. And sure enough, you know, Monday morning, the news broke. And so I want to go ahead and get into this article real fast, man, to let you guys know some of the details of what's going on. That would be awesome, bro. Yeah, somebody hit me up on one of the comments. So let's get into this. SB Nation, Manny Pacquiao announces start of training camp. Return details still unknown. So it's not even still known who he's going to be fighting next. I guess nobody knows. It could still be Ryan Garcia. Nobody knows, man. I try to let y'all see that, man. I don't know if y'all can see the camera, but that's the name of the article right there. So y'all know I ain't blowing smoke up you. You know, that's the name of the article. If you can see it. But Senator Manny Pacquiao is expected to be back in the ring before long, as Pacquiao himself has come out to announce that training camp for his next bout is underway. The 42-year-old legend posted on Twitter today that he's not done adding to his lengthy resume in the sport of boxing. And then they show his tweet. I don't know if you guys can see that. They got his tweet up there. Training camp has begun. I'm ready to get back in the ring and to further add to my legacy in the sport of boxing. Big news is coming soon. At Paradigm Sports, at AHAT, who is his manager now. Now I want to say, before I go on, I want to say a few things about the Ryan Garcia fight. I know everybody's like, well, Ryan Garcia's in training, and ES News keeps putting up these videos of Ryan Garcia in training. Well, there is still a possibility he might be fighting Ryan Garcia. It's not completely out of the books yet, but I do know this. About a week ago, when Ryan Garcia posted his last video about him potentially fighting Pacquiao, Pacquiao's team, AKHi, sent a cease and desist letter to Ryan Garcia's team telling them they had to stop talking about the negotiations. So I don't know if that ended the negotiations when they sent that cease and desist letter, but that's the reason you haven't heard anything from Ryan Garcia. If you're wondering why Ryan Garcia isn't talking about this anymore, that's the reason why, because he was on the verge of getting sued for leaking confidential information about their whatever they had in the works. So just to let you know about that Ryan Garcia fight, it might still happen. Not 100% sure, but if you ask me, I think the Ryan Garcia fight's probably not going down. I think it's either going to be between three names and a potential fighter nobody's thought of yet. Got a comment. So who do you think he's going to fight next? I know if he's fighting Floyd, Floyd don't want him to take talk until he says something. If he's fighting Bud or Spence, that will add to his legacy for sure. I definitely agree with that. As far as the Mayweather fight, I would say this. I wouldn't look for the Mayweather fight to be first for one reason. Mayweather hasn't been in a professional boxing ring in, what has it been, 4 years now. So even if he did fight Pacquiao, I think Mayweather would set it up like this. If they've already talked it out, like, hey, I'll give you a rematch at such and such date, maybe the end of the year or beginning of 2021. I think Floyd would want to take some type of tune-up first and then possibly fight Pacquiao second. But I think they would set it up like this. I think Floyd might want him to fight one of those two guys first, give him some time to get himself together, and then them two guys get it on, depending on how the public perceives the fight. You know, if Pacquiao went in there with Crawford or Spence and got beat, there definitely wouldn't be a need for him to try to take on Floyd Mayweather. But let me move on in this article so we can get through this article. Then we can all chop it up. Most recently, Pacquiao's name had been attached to rising lightweight star Ryan Garcia, which really came out of nowhere, all things considered. But despite those talks making headlines, the proposed bout was dismissed by Garcia's Golden Boy promotion, who said the fight's not happening. Garcia's trainer Eddie Reynoso also isn't big on that matchup either. So we can probably dismiss that idea for right now. So I would say 100% sure that Ryan Garcia is not going to be the next fight, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through right now, man. Smash that like button for me. Pacquiao that like button for me. Uppercut it, left hook it, jab it, all that stuff. Hit that like button for me so we can get some more people in here. Appreciate y'all for coming through, though. I'm going to go on. As of now, there's still no official word on who Pacquiao's targeting as his next opponent. Pacquiao had been keen on staging a boxing match against UFC's Conor McGregor, but after McGregor's recent knockout loss that pretty much blew those plans to HE double hockey sticks. So perhaps Pacquiao will instead have to face another professional boxer. Who do you think Pacquiao should match up against? And they end it there. They don't give no details. I'm pretty sure they know who the names are. But like Ryan Garcia, they're not trying to catch a cease and desist order for Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting Spence or Bud. I would say it's a 50-50 shot for Spence and Bud, and then there's a 50-50 shot for I would say there's a 50-50 shot. Spence and Bud share a 50% chance of fighting Pacquiao, and then Jordania's you guys shares that other 50% of the chance of fighting Pacquiao. Who's he actually going to choose at the end of the day? I don't know yet, man. Nobody's saying nothing. As soon as I found that news, that tweet, and I'm not even on Twitter. I found the tweet through another link, and Mikey Garcia. As soon as I saw Mikey Garcia got on Instagram, so he was on Instagram Live talking to everybody, and I asked him like 2 or 3 times, in the chat, are you going to fight Manny Pacquiao next? Is Manny Pacquiao your next fight? He just announced he's gonna be fighting her. He's going to announce his next fight. He didn't say anything. He didn't even reply back to it. He kind of looked at it and didn't reply back to it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be. It might be Mikey Garcia. We don't know yet. I think the most interesting fight out there for Pacquiao at the moment is between Spence and Crawford. Those are going to be the two most difficult matchups. But if Pacquiao's planning on fighting twice this year, I would say those would be the two potential matches. That would be his best bet, because why waste a fight on Jordania's you guys if you're only going to fight twice this year? So if you're going to fight twice, you might as well take on Crawford. If you beat him, go ahead and take on Spence, or vice versa. Now, which one Which one of those guys would you rather see out of the 10 people, 9 people that's in here? Which one of those two fighters would y'all rather see Manny Pacquiao fight? Who has you guys picked as Manny Pacquiao's next fight? Do y'all want to see him fight Spence, or do y'all want to see him fight Crawford? I'll give y'all like a minute or two to answer. Because I look at it like this, you know, if he wants to make a boatload of money, if he's looking for a big money fight, then Spence or Crawford. You can take either one of those fights, and they're going to make huge dollar signs. I don't think the Yadanius you guys fight would make as much money, but I think the Yadanius you guys fight would be a better fight. I actually think he's such an unknown. He would be willing to scrap with Pacquiao a whole lot more than Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford would. I think those guys are going to come in with a strategy and try to stick to that strategy, where I think Yadanius you guys will come into that fight and really try to brawl it out with Pacquiao and see if he can knock him out. I think Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they're a little more smarter than that. They're not the type of fighters that going to come in there and try to brawl it out, especially not Crawford. Errol Spence might try to brawl it out with Pacquiao, but I think Crawford would really try to play that technician role and try to fill Pacquiao out for a few rounds. Bud first, and then Spence or whoever is weaker out of the twos, and I would love him to fight Floyd. About Floyd, and that's the wild card I was talking about. You know, there's 3 fights potentially Pacquiao could pick from, and there are a few other names out there that we haven't talked about. But I say if he wants a big money fight, there are definitely 3 names. There's Errol Spence first. You know, the Spence fight is going to make him more money than the Crawford fight is, but I don't think the dollar signs would be that much difference between a Crawford and a Spence fight. But I do think the Spence fight would make him a little bit more money. Second, I would have him fighting Crawford. You know, that's going to make him big money. Third, I would say you guys would make him big money. But the number one out of all would be Floyd Mayweather. If he rematched Floyd Mayweather, he's going to do some ridiculous numbers. My only problem with that is if he rematches Mayweather, I don't see it being a sanctioned fight. I think it's going to end up being an exhibition, and he will use that exhibition as some type of tune-up for his next fight with Spence or Crawford. I don't see him taking on Floyd Mayweather in an actual fight. Let's see. You said, and then for shits and giggles, and normally I don't let people post cuss words in the chat, but I'm gonna let that one go. For S and giggles, I would like to clear up the. I would like him to clear out the 135 division before he leaves. I don't know if he has enough time to go through the 135 division. I think that would be the problem with Pacquiao going down in weight. Is how long is Pacquiao actually going to be around after this year? Does he plan on, hey, it's 2 fights and that's it? Or is there 2 fights and, you know, if I win both of those fights, there's potentially more coming? My bad. Are you good, bro? I just, you know, it shows me when somebody says something that I've blocked in the chat. So, you know, I can still show it, but, you know, just in case there's kids in her, you know, I be trying to, and then YouTube, you know, I don't want to get demonetized. But anyway, what was I saying? So there is the potential of that Floyd fight, man. That Floyd fight could be real big. I just don't see that Floyd fight actually being a sanctioned boxing match. I don't think Floyd would risk ever his name to go up against Pacquiao. His legacy, his 50-0. I don't think he will put that on the line. Now I do think he would want some of them dollars that will go along with him and Pacquiao's name being associated with each other again. But it would only be in an exhibition, and since all this exhibition talk has been going around surrounding Manny Pacquiao, I wouldn't be surprised if the fight we're going to get, and since it is on such short notice, would be Mayweather, and it would be Mayweather in an exhibition fight. You know, maybe they'll do a actual sparring type of exhibition fight to where it's full contact but with headgear and actually go like 8 rounds or 10 rounds, or if it's like a actual exhibition, like a six round exhibition, and they're barring certain type of punches, then it's something that I don't really want to see. I think it would still make money, but I wouldn't really be that much interested in it. I think though, if we gave Floyd a year and a tune-up fight, I think we could potentially see the Maypac 2 fight. But I think it would take at least a year for Mayweather to get back in fighting shape. I don't think we'll see that as Pacquiao's return fight. I just can't see Floyd risking that much. Floyd's real calculated with what he does, man. But that would explain why Pacquiao has been so quiet about announcing his next fight. Like the guy in the chat said, Floyd is really mums the word about certain stuff when it comes to announcing his fight. So until he's ready to announce it, he's not gonna let you announce the fight. So that would make sense why Pacquiao's been so quiet. Let me know what y'all think, man. Out of those two, everybody, we got 14 people in here right now. Hit that like button for me, man, please. Smash that Pacquiao that like button for me. If you can, let me know. If you can type in the chat, let me know who y'all think is the best matchup for Pacquiao. Who makes Pacquiao the most money out of you guys, Crawford, Spence, and I guess you can throw Mayweather in there too, since the talks have come up and Pacquiao actually did offer him the fight. So there's obviously something going on, man. It's got to be one of those 4 guys. And who y'all think the surprise names could be? I mean, it might not be none of those. It could be some type of surprise fight. It might be somebody that we're completely overlooking. I will say that it's Pac, new sub here. Appreciate that, Pac. Appreciate you, bro. If you got a channel, man, I'll definitely check you out and sub you right back, man. I got no problem doing that, man. Who you think is going to be Pacquiao's next fight, man? Is it going to be Crawford, Spence, you guys, or Mayweather? Who's the big name? Who's getting drawn at the hat for Pacquiao? I actually think that there's some other names out there. Canelo, Triple G. These names have been tossed up. If Pacquiao wants a really big money fight, I think those are names you can't take off the table. I know some people might think that he can't beat those type of fighters, but this is not your average boxer we're talking about. We're talking about Manny Pacquiao. He don't care who he get in the ring with. As long as he getting paid, he's as long as they paying Pacquiao, he'll go up and fight a grizzly bear, I think. I don't think he really discriminates on who he fights. To be honest, I don't know. LOL, he needs to tune up, though. I feel the same way, man. I think, listen, if he's going to fight twice, I've been saying this all along. And I've said this before he got stripped. I said it, when he got stripped. I still say it right now. His best bet is to go face up with you guys. Get that and use that as a tune-up. Now that you guys has the belt, it plays out even more in his favor because it'll be he can get that belt back, and it's a tune-up fight. You guys is not the best fighter out there. I just feel like you guys has a lot more to gain, so he'd be more willing to risk throwing punches with Pacquiao. So I think we would end up with a better fight if he fought you guys. But you guys is not more talented than Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford as far as talent-wise. But I think he's a banger. He's a boxer. He will get in there and fight you. So he's a dangerous fight for any of those 3 guys. And I feel like that would be his best bet. Go get the you guys fight, tune up, and get your belt back at the same time. And then let Spence and Crawford work it out over the spring and summertime. Then you can go fight whoever unifies that belt. And you'll still hold that super championship, so they still need you at the end of the day. So one of those, whoever wins that fight will have to fight you. I think that would be his best bet, and that would be a great road and a great ending to his legacy. His legacy should end on the unification fight. He shouldn't be unifying. He shouldn't be trying to take a unification fight as his next fight. that shouldn't be his next fight. The unification fight should be the biggest fight of his career, and it should be the one that ends his career. He should win or lose. That should be his last fight. You were right when you said you guys is the dangerous fight because he is unknown. He's unknown, man. Don't nobody know what he's gonna bring to the table. And if he get actually go in there and knock Pacquiao out 1 or 2 rounds because nobody knows what he's capable of, because everybody's looking over him and everybody's just looking at Spence and Crawford and Pacquiao like they're the top dogs. But you guys is ranked up there for a reason. He beat I can't remember exactly who it was, but I watched that fight. Who he beat? I think he actually he either won by a point or he tied in that tournament with the guy he fought. But they made him the honorary winner of that tournament for some reason, and that's the reason why they wasn't recognizing him as the regular champion at first. But you know, he got the nod. So you know, you guys is a dangerous fight, man. For Pacquiao, Spence, or Crawford, for either 3 of those guys, they could all go in there and underestimate you guys and really get surprised about you guys' talent and his length and his power. You know, so it's not like you guys is gonna be some type of pushover. But I still think, hey, that's the best fight for Pacquiao. If you're gonna fight twice, and then that's it. If that's it after this fight, if he fights twice, that's it. Then fight you guys, get your belt back and tune up at the same time, like I just said. Then let Spence and Crawford work it out. You go fight the winner of that, because you know, why should he have to work so hard being the older of the 3 fighters? You know, those 2 guys should have to get it on. One of them becomes crowned temporary king until they get the belt from Pacquiao, and then when they fight Pacquiao, they can be the head of the new generation of boxing. That's the way it should play out, because it would be sort of like a tournament. At that point, you would have all the top 4 fighters fighting it out with each other, and whoever wins at the end of the day will be crowned the unified king of the welterweight division. Now think about that playing out in that order. You know, to me, that's how it should play out. That should be the tournament that plays out, because Pacquiao and you guys were supposed to fight anyway. That was Pacquiao's mandatory. Those 2 guys should be matching up for that super title, and then Spence and Crawford should be matching up to unify those other 3 titles. You know, because they're 1 and 2. Pacquiao and you guys is 3 and 4. So you know, that would be your top 4 fighters in the welterweight division, all facing up, all competing for the unification crown. If they announced that as a tournament, you know what type of money that would make? And that's what boxing messes up, because boxing has golden opportunities to draw legions of fans in if they link certain fights together. The reason basketball, football, you know, baseball, all these team sports, they make so much money and they're so popular is because you don't just get one game. You get multiple games. Or you get multiple times to see these people a year. Unfortunately for boxing, and really right now in the midst of the what's going on in the world, you're barely seeing guys once a year. You know, you might not see a guy fight for 2 or 3 years. And if they would start doing tournaments with at least their top 4 fighters, having all them fight it out, you know, 3 fighting 4, and then 1 fighting 2, it would bring a lot more interest into the sport and into the divisions, because then you have people that are from number 5 to number 10 fighting it out constantly to try to get in that top 4 tournament for the unification. And you would have it would be easier for one guy to unify the division, and there to be one champion at all time. You know, when number 2 takes out number 1, he's the unified guy. And then with number 3, you know, they get it on with number 4. You know, it makes it fun, man. They got to figure out a way to make boxing fun again. You can't just have one guy ruling boxing and saying I'm the best guy, but you never fight anybody. You know, that makes the sport horrible. It takes the fan base away from the sport. Who God is actually pretty good. Who God I thought he beat Porter, but it was it wasn't given the decision. Okay, that was Porter he fought where he wasn't given the decision. So I guess he did beat the guy in the tournament because they had a tournament for that regular championship. And I guess he did. So it was Porter he fought. When he fought Porter, they didn't give him that decision. I had those two fights mixed up. But like I said, man, that would be awesome to me. Let me know what y'all think about that. Should there be division tournaments in the sport of boxing? Should boxing go to a tournament division with its top 4 fighters? Would that make boxing more watchable? Or would you enjoy boxing more if they had a tournament for the top 4 fighters, and then they had tournaments for the top 5 through 10 fighters, to where they had to fight it out to determine who gets to fight in that top 4 bracket? What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that would bring more fan base into the sport of boxing? I feel like that's what boxing is lacking, man. You know, they're lacking structure, and with the championships, you know, the belts, there are too many belts all over the place. There should be one champion at all times. And when that champion gets knocked off, you know, the next guy should be able to be the unified champion. It shouldn't be one guy has this belt, another guy has this belt, another guy has this belt, and it takes 10 years, 5 to 10 years for all these guys to fight each other. It waters down the sport to me a whole lot, if you ask me. We got 12 people in here right now, man. Pacquiao that like button for me, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Big news surrounding Pacquiao right now. Let me go ahead and check and see if anybody else has dropped any articles before I move on. Nah, bro, they are lacking of. Hey, put it this way: if the divisions force them to fight, you know, it wouldn't be up to them to have guebos and get in the ring with each other all the time. That would be forced. It would be mandatory, you know, for them to fight that next guy. And, you know, either that or you would have to drop out of that top 5 ranking or that top 4 ranking. I just feel like that would make the sport a whole lot better, and you would get a lot more fights sooner. You would get a lot more of those matchups sooner that you want to see, rather than us having to wait 2, 3, and 4 years in between super fights. You know, it's ridiculous we don't get a super. There should be a super fight in a division every year. There should be at least one a year. You shouldn't be. You know, it's just ridiculous. Maypac shouldn't have taken 10 years, 5 and 10 years for it to happen. Okay, somebody else just posted boxing news 24/7. Pacquiao ready to return to the ring. News is coming soon. So let me get into this article real fast. Let me know what y'all think so far, man. What do y'all feel like is gonna happen? Who's next for Pacquiao? Do y'all feel like the welterweight tournament, the division tournament would work in the sport of boxing? Or do y'all think that would be a disaster for the sport of boxing? I think that would be the perfect thing to get people even more interested in the sport. The problem would be is getting all the promoters on board to relinquish some of those belts back to the sanctioning bodies, because a lot of these promotional companies like Top Rank's been holding that WBO belt for the past 10, I think 15 years. They might as well call it the Top Rank belt. So, spell check, LOL. I think a tournament would be awesome. Man, I'm telling you, that would be the thing to save the sport of boxing from UFC, because UFC is going to wipe the sport of boxing off the map here in the next 5 or 10 years as far as fan base goes. And they got to do something to fix the sport, man. It's ridiculous right now. All right, let me get into this article. Manny Pacquiao ready to return to the ring. News coming soon. Boxing News 24 by Chris Williams. Manny Pacquiao announced today that he'd be returning to the ring soon. He's already started training for a fight against a still to be determined opponent. The question is, who will Pacquiao be facing next? Ryan Garcia talked nonstop to the media until recently that his next fight will be against the former 8 Division World Champ Pacquiao. In his announcement today, Pacquiao said that his next fight would be added to my legacy, which suggests that he will fight a quality opponent. you would suspect that would rule out 42-year-old fighting Ryan Garcia or Conor McGregor, because those guys wouldn't add to his legacy. They would add to his legacy, but it's supposed to be wouldn't. Those fighters would subtract from Pacquiao's resume and make a mockery of what he's done in the past. It wouldn't be a big deal for Pacquiao to fight Ryan Garcia or McGregor if he were retired from the sport and was looking to entertain loyal fans. But in Pacquiao's case, he's coming off one of the most significant career wins with his victory over previously undefeated Keith one-time Thurman in July of 2019. Pacquiao isn't at the stage of his career where he is reduced to fighting a novelist like 22-year-old Ryan Garcia or McGregor. Okay, it goes on. Hold on. All right. Chris Rims speaks for many boxing fans when he says there will be angry people if Pacquiao decides to fight Ryan Garcia next rather than one of these top-level fighters. And then they got a list of the fighters they think he should be facing out. And some of my names are in here, man. It's crazy. Some of the names I'm mentioning are in here. All right, you got, I don't know if y'all can see that. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got 8 top-tier names that could possibly, to them, be Manny Pacquiao's next fight. I don't know if that's actually going to be who Pacquiao fights, but, you know, it's possible that these names could be who Pacquiao fights next. And those names are, because I don't think y'all can see because my screen is way too bright. Those names are Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford, and this is in order: Gennady Golovkin, Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas, Keith Thurman, and Mikey Garcia. Wow, some big names on that list, and some notable names that are not on that list. Like they put Golovkin in there, but not Canelo. They put Mikey Garcia in there, but they didn't put Shawn Porter in there. So that should let you know. Well, they do got Shawn Porter in there. I take that back. So they put, I don't understand why they put Danny in there, though. They got Danny, Porter, and Mikey. Mikey's the one name I don't really understand why his name is even being mentioned, other than the fact that they were going to do it a year ago. I think you could scratch his name off of there. A rematch with Thurman doesn't really make sense. You know, it would be a good tune-up. You know, I think some people would tune in for it. But, you know, doesn't really make sense. You guys, that would be an awesome fight. I think he's an unknown. I think Pacquiao would do well against you guys, and it would tune him up for Errol Spence or Crawford. Danny Garcia, he just got mollywopped. That doesn't really make sense to me. Shawn Porter, very interesting. When you get down to Shawn Porter, I think he has a high likely chance that he could fight Pacquiao next. Now, if you wanted a great tune-up fight for either Spence or Crawford, let's say you're going to fight a tune-up and then you're going to fight those two guys after they work it out in the spring and summer, Shawn Porter would be the perfect name. Now, only reason I don't think he would go with Shawn Porter is because Shawn Porter is not a champion, and you guys is a champion. So he could kill two birds with one stone. He could get re-ranked in the WBA, which he's still ranked in the WBA, but he could become a champion again in the WBA by beating you guys, where he can't in fighting Shawn Porter, and he can get a tune-up in, where, you know, he could get a tune-up in if he fought Shawn Porter. Then they got Gennady Golovkin. Okay, this is where things get interesting because, wow, what would you guys think if Pacquiao fought Gennady Golovkin next? If he fought Triple G next instead of Spence or Crawford, what would be the first thing that crossed y'all mind? Like, why Pacquiao decided to choose Gennady Golovkin over Spence and Crawford? Do you think Pacquiao will use steroids for this fight? If he fights Golovkin, he might. I don't know. Golovkin's a big dude, but I think Pacquiao can beat Golovkin with his speed. So what if Pac fights Khabib? Do you think that would help boost the boxing scene? Very interested. I don't think anybody thought about Khalid because he has no boxing background. Did him and Mayweather actually fight? Did Mayweather fight? No, he fought the Japanese guy, didn't the Chinese guy instead of Khalid. I think he was supposed to fight Khalid, and then it fell apart, and then he fought the Chinese guy. I forgot what his name is, Nagasaki or something. But exactly. What about exactly? But there is always some reason boxers get to go around their mandatory. I mean, that is true. You know, and I don't see why that would be any different for Yordania as you guys. Have you checked Pac-Man website? I didn't know he had a website, to tell you the truth. I haven't been on there. I will check that out, though. 9-division world champ necessary. It could happen, man. That's what I'm saying. It could definitely happen. I'd say Pacquiao lost his mind if he fought. Hey, is Triple G still a champion? Does he still hold the belt? Or did Canelo clean him out when them two guys got it on? So if he fought Triple G, would he be a 9-division world champion? Would he get a belt from Triple G? And then I'm gonna finish this article out after y'all. Somebody let me know that down in the chat, man. Got 15 people in here, man, right now. If anybody ain't hit the like button for me, please, for the YouTube algorithm, and so that we get shared out to more people. Right hook that like button like Manny Pacquiao, man. Pacquiao that like button for me. Boy, if Pacquiao fights and beats Triple G, there would be a no debate that Pacquiao is the best of all times. No debate, hands down. He would be the most amazing fighter I've ever seen in my life, hands down. I already say he's the most exciting fighter and the number one fighter to never duck anybody I've ever seen in my life. I still got Ali always as number one. Then I got Manny Pacquiao number two. I got Mike Tyson number three. Then I got Bernard Hopkins number four. I got I got Antonio Barrera number 5 and Eric Morales number 6. If you want to know of the fighters that I've gotten to see in my lifetime, those are my top 6 fighters. You got Muhammad Ali, Manny Pacquiao, Mike Tyson, Bernard Hopkins, Mark Antonio Barrera, and Eric Morales. And then I guess I could put Floyd Mayweather at number 7. But back to this Triple G possible fight. I want to talk about this for a little bit because I had mentioned this about a year ago before I stopped doing videos and took my little break that would be an awesome fight for Pacquiao if he got a chance to fight Triple G. I think he can beat him. I think like he just said, 9-division world champion. You already got a guy who spanned 8 divisions. What happens if he goes for 9 divisions? I mean, you're talking about records that will never, ever, probably ever be broken in history again. 9 divisions would be unheard of. And I think if you're looking to add to your legacy and you hang on those 2 words that Pacquiao just put out there, he's trying to add to his legacy. Now, if he beat Crawford or Spence, that would definitely add to his legacy. If he beat Mayweather was actually brave enough to get back into a boxing ring with Manny Pacquiao, it would add to his legacy. But if he beat Triple G, that would be history-making event. That would be cement Manny Pacquiao as one of the greatest names in the sport of boxing ever. And I'm going to add this in on the Triple G fight too, and that's probably the last thing I'm going to say about it. Is if he fought Triple G and beat Triple G, that would be the ultimate tune-up for Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. Because if he fought Triple G, at a catch weight, and, that would give him time for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford to work it out. And, he gets his tune-up in, he gets his huge money fight in. And in the meantime, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford get it on, and then Pacquiao can come back for his last fight of his career. Not only would he have gotten a huge money fight from fighting Triple G, he would have gotten an even bigger fight, which is gonna have ridiculous dollar signs thrown around in the unification fight with whoever wins that Errol Spence turns Crawford fight. I think that going for 9 divisions and unifying the welterweight division all within the same year would label Manny Pacquiao as the best boxer ever in history. It would make him the best fighter not only of this generation, the last generation, but ever in history of the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao's name would be number 1, and there would be no questions about that. And who cares about a Floyd Mayweather fight? If Pacquiao beats Triple G and Crawford or Spence in the same year, who can argue with him being the number 1 fighter ever in history? And I don't mean, like I just said, this generation and just in the welterweight division. I mean of every boxer who's ever fought in history. Let me see what y'all think about that. I give y'all a few seconds to rebuttal that. What do y'all think about that? Rodolfo Lopez. If he beats Spence and Crawford, then I say GOAT all the way around. Salute. Bond, what's cracking, bro? I've been using her last night. What's good? What's good with you, man? Good to see you again. But what do y'all think about him fighting Triple G? If he fights Triple G and Spence or Crawford in the same year, what does Pacquiao rank on the best fighter ever in history? Does that make him the best fighter ever in history? Good point, Red. Well said. Appreciate that. Necessary. If they met at 154, Pac-Man by points, and he'll Margarito his face. I agree with you. I think the speed would kill Triple G. I don't think Triple G in any way can keep up with Pacquiao's speed. He couldn't keep up with Canelo's speed. He could throw back with Canelo. He just couldn't keep up with Canelo's speed. And I think Pacquiao would have at 54 would have a real good chance of beating Triple G, especially on points. I'm not gonna say he would knock him out. I don't think he would knock him out, but I think he would do exactly what he said. It would be something similar to Cotto or Margarito as far as what Pacquiao's able to do to Triple G by points. Rodolfo Lopez says by points. G-Box, what's up, Red? What's cracking, G? I like that idea. Go for 9 divisions, then unify GOAT status. Just 2 fights to make him GOAT. 2 fights, and he is the best fighter ever in history. Now, does he have a serious chance of being hurt beyond drastical belief in both of those fights at 42 years of age? It's possible. Could it go in the other way? Could he hurt drastically Triple G and Crawford or Spence in career change? I think he can still do it at this age. I think if there's one fighter who can pull it off, it's Manny Pacquiao, and I wouldn't put nothing past Pacquiao. I think I want to see it happen. 9 divisions would be insane, man. I wouldn't know how to react if he actually did announce a Triple G fight. But if he's willing to fight Ryan Garcia, go down in weight, if he's willing to, entertain that fight, I think he's willing to entertain going up, 6 or 7 pounds to fight Triple G, because Triple G would bring in so much money. It would be ridiculous. And Triple G comes with a whole country behind him as well as his American fans and the Pacquiao American fans. So it would be a huge fight. It would be legendary. It would be something to add to your legacy. Superstar boxing status. Would be the craziest press conference you've ever seen in your life. Rodolfo Lopez said, yep, man, I just think that would be something, once in a lifetime event if he actually did announce he was going to fight Triple G. Now let's move on a little bit, man. If y'all ain't got nothing else to say about the Triple G fight, okay, let's ask. I'm gonna ask this question. So if he's actually entertaining Triple G, do you think he's entertaining a possible fight with Canelo? Because if Triple G makes money, but Canelo makes ridiculous amounts of money. So if he's possibly entertaining Triple G, he's possibly entertaining. It could be anybody at this point. He's got to be possibly entertaining a Canelo fight as well. And I think if he could, I think the Canelo fight's way more dangerous than the Triple G fight is. But I could still see him giving Canelo trouble with his speed. It would be interesting to see how Canelo reacts to fighting Manny Pacquiao. It would be, I think, the second biggest fight of his career, as well as any of those other guys we mentioned so far. There ain't no knocking out Triple G. I don't see him knocking him out, but I can see him overwhelming Triple G with punches the same way he did Margarito and Cotto. Laugh my A off. Canelo, nah. Yeah, possibly. Canelo, I think that's a stretch, man. I think since Canelo's entertaining, moving up again in weight, it might not happen. But if he's willing to fight Errol Spence, why not Manny Pacquiao? You know, he was entertaining the Errol Spence fight, so why not Pacquiao? Where does Shakur Stevens fit into all of this? Interesting. Is Shakur Stevens 130, 135, or 140, or is he going through that whole division? What does he sit at as far as weight? I'm not sure exactly where he sits as far as weight, because that could be one of those wild cards I mentioned earlier that could get thrown in there. There's a possibility anybody, he could fight anybody at this point. If he's entertaining a Ryan Garcia fight, anybody could throw their name in there. From 130 pounds to 154 pounds, it could be any superstar from any one of those divisions, if you ask me. And at the moment, Shakur Stevens does have a big name. I don't know if he fits, he kind of fits in that prospect realm with Pacquiao, though. I don't know if that fight really makes sense. I think he could possibly hurt Crawford, but the only thing I have to back that up is that last fight where he got dropped. I'm on my Pacquiao's next fight will be Mikey Garcia. It could possibly be Mikey Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia is off the table. I think based off the reaction of fans hearing about that fight, I don't think Pacquiao's entertaining it too much anymore. I think Mikey Garcia has a better chance than Ryan Garcia, to be completely honest with you. I think Shakur Stevens has a better chance than Ryan Garcia. All right, Pacquiao, Bud beats Pacquiao, mate. G-Box. It'll be a slobber knocker if you if you want to say it in Jim Ross voice. It'll be a slobber knocker. But I think Pacquiao edges him out. I think Bud would try to go too technical, and I think Pacquiao would edge him out with speed and power punching. I think his combination punching is too much for Crawford. Pacquiao beats Errol. I could agree with that. I think Pacquiao's speed is way too much for Errol Spence. And I think a lot of people think that Terrence Crawford's speed is too much for Errol Spence. But I think Crawford's speed is a different type of speed than Pacquiao. Pacquiao has equal hand speed and foot speed. I say Crawford's hand speed is much better than his foot speed is. Which one of those fights out of Crawford and Spence? Which one's the bigger fight to the 19 people that's in here right now? Who's the bigger fight for Pacquiao? Because I think those are the two front running names. It would be great to see him fight Triple G and get that 9th division. It would. I think it's a long shot, but it would be awesome to see that. I think Spence and Crawford are the front running names. Don't quote me on that. Could be Triple G. Hey, he could have something serious in the works. And the Triple G fight would be legendary. It would add to his legacy. It would be a big money fight. It would give him a chance to let Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford work out whatever they need to work out. it would kill a lot of birds with one stone when it comes to Pacquiao and the things he's trying to accomplish before he leaves the sport. So I think we can't put that fight we can't put those fight talks past Pacquiao right now. But let me know who y'all think is the bigger fight out of Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford facing Manny Pacquiao. Which one of those guys you think is the most excited right now? Because they know something. One of them knows something big is coming down the pipe. Floyd is copying Michael Jordan before brother even shaved his head bald. I mean, maybe Floyd knows something we don't know. You know, maybe he figured out something about shaving his head and coming back. You know, so maybe he figured out that makes him faster. You know, so he gonna come back and put that speed on Pacquiao. I'm gonna ask this question because ain't nobody answering my Bud Spence question yet. Out of all of these fights that have been mentioned, which one of y'all think makes the most money? So there's a potential fight with Spence. There's a potential fight with Crawford. A potential fight with Golovkin. There's a potential fight with Porter. Potential fight with Danny. You guys, Thurman, and Mikey. Out of all those fighters, who does Manny Pacquiao make the most facing up against? Biggest fights for Manny. He has hair implant. Canelo number 1, Errol Spence number 2. I think those two. I would agree with that. I would say that those two make Pacquiao the most fight. If Crawford fight Manny, he will defend his world champion. You know, I don't know, man. I think he would give him a good fight. It'd be a slobber knocker, but I think Pacquiao's still too much. I think his combination punching is still too much for Crawford. Triple G will make him the most money compared to Errol and Bud. I agree with that. I think if he's looking for a big money fight, besides Floyd or Canelo, and I would kind of take Canelo off the table because Canelo has too much to lose by facing up with Pacquiao. Triple G is trying to rebuild his name, and I just feel like the Triple G fight is a real possibility. It's a big money fight. It would cement his legacy if he beat him. As far as he don't need to cement it no more, but 9 divisions would be unheard of. It would be ridiculous. It would be something that would never be broken again. 8 divisions would never be broken again, but 9 divisions is something ridiculous to even mention. Canelo and Errol Spence. I would say, yeah, Canelo would be number 1, but of course, biggest money is the Mayweather fight. Big money fight, big drama show. I can agree with that. I think I don't know. I actually think Mayweather comes second to Canelo now. I think if you put it in order right now, the top 3 fights as far as money, it would be Canelo, it would be Mayweather, it would be Triple G, it would be Spence, and then it would be the Crawford fight. I think the Crawford fight would be the 5th as far as money. Triple G is too big for Manny. I mean, not necessarily. If Spence can fight him, why not? You know, why not Manny? You know, and remember, Floyd was 150. Fought Canelo. You know, Canelo fought Triple G. Canelo was once 147 pounds. I don't think he can't go up to 154 and compete with Triple G. Is it a dangerous fight? I don't. You know, it is a dangerous fight. Even Mayweather was quiet when Triple G said he would be down to fight Mayweather in welterweight. Interesting fight. I think it rebuilds Triple G. It brings Triple G's name back into the top realm of boxing again. And it would help him build his back up there. And it would help Pacquiao get that big money fight he's been looking for. How about McGregor fight? I don't like it, but it will draw huge amount. Not now. The McGregor fight's done, man. You know, unfortunately for him, and the reason the McGregor fight can't happen is because we don't know what type of damage has been done to McGregor's leg. You know, he took some serious leg kicks and wasn't looking good at all at the end of that Dustin Poirier fight. So I don't think it'll be McGregor anytime soon. Floyd, Canelo, Triple G, and Errol. I agree with. I could argue with you about Floyd being first, but I would say him and Canelo would be the two names that would draw in the most money. with a close third, second or third by Triple G. Rafael Lopez, Pac-Man Can. That's the weight he fought Margarito at. Yeah, 154. He fought Margarito at 154 and demolished him. But that don't mean he should. Definitely not. It doesn't mean he should, but you got to look at it how Pacquiao's looking at it. Who's going to bring him the most dollar signs at this point? Who's going to put the most butts in seats? And, who's going to bring in the most money is what he's looking for. And if he's trying to accomplish those two things, big dollar signs and butts and seats, if you can't get Floyd or Canelo, Triple G is actually the next biggest thing to face up with. Because Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they don't draw in the dollar signs that Canelo, Floyd, and Triple G would draw in for Manny Pacquiao. And Ryan Garcia doesn't even come close to doing those type of numbers. He can't compete with the numbers that Pacquiao would do with Spence and Crawford. Spence and Crawford can't compete with the numbers that Pacquiao would do with Canelo, Floyd, and Triple G. That's just a fact right there. Laugh my butt off, bro. McGregor, he gonna punch him so hard he will backflip. I think he would. If Pacquiao fought McGregor, it would be the last time you ever seen McGregor fight again. He would never fight in MMA again. He would never step foot in the boxing ring again. Pacquiao will put McGregor in the instant retirement. Legacy, huge money. Exactly. If that's what he's going for, that's what. Those are the three fights he needs to be shooting for right now. Because in my mind, he needs to be going for the money on this first fight. And then if he wins that, the second fight, he should be going for the legacy, which would be him trying to unify with either Spence or Crawford, whoever wins that fight. And in the meantime, we should get 3 super fights this year. Okay, we should get Pacquiao taking on Floyd, Canelo, or Triple G would be awesome. That would be one super fight to go in the history books forever. Then we should get Crawford and Spence facing off. That would be another super fight to unify those titles. And then we should get that unification fight. The only problem with that is where does you guys fit in all that? Because you can't unify titles without you guys, without that belt that you guys holds. So you guys would have to fit in there somewhere. Cardinal Red is the A side. The rest don't matter. Hey, straight up, man. Straight up. I hope it gets that way sometime real soon, man. As long as y'all keep supporting the channel, man, we all gonna be the A side here pretty soon. Then the big channels got to come to us for the info, Not sure who said it will be Manny's last 2 fights. That came directly from Pacquiao. He said he planned on fighting 2 more times this year. Whether that's set in stone, we don't know yet. But he definitely did say himself that he wanted to fight 2 times. Well, he said he wanted to fight 2 times this year. Now, let me take back what I just said. He didn't say he was going to fight 2 times then retire. He said he was going to fight 2 times this year. So, get that right. Maybe last 2 fights before our election here in the Philippines next year. And I'm gonna do a video about that. Is Pacquiao actually gonna go through with that? Because there's been some talk that came out about Pacquiao running for president, and I don't want to give away too much because I want y'all to tune in for that video when I actually do make it. But there's some news about Pacquiao running for president in the Philippines that may affect his boxing career. You guys versus Porter rematch. That would be an awesome rematch. Would love to see that. But I bet after next year election, Manny will still fight. I'm telling you some real interesting stuff, some news, and I wanted to do that video about a week ago about Pacquiao running for president, but I didn't know if people would actually click on the video. I think now with everything going on around Pacquiao, there's a lot more interest in Pacquiao's name, so I can go ahead and get ready to start making that video. I say other topic question. What's the reason Teddy Atlas hates Manny Pacquiao? Because every time Teddy Atlas has matched up with Manny Pacquiao, he's gotten beat. And Teddy Atlas doesn't like Freddie Roach. They have some type of problem with each other. They don't really. I don't know if they finally patched it up, but him and Freddie Roach got a little beef together. He needs fights for publicity when he plans to run for presidency on 2026. I thought the presidency election, is it 2026 or is it 2022? I thought the presidency, he was running for the presidency for 2022, not 2026. Thurman versus you guys would be an interesting fight. I got Thurman versus you guys. I take you guys in that one. Ryan Neal, appreciate you for coming through, Ryan, man. Appreciate you. Hit that like button for me, bro. I hope you subscribe too, man. You know, we stay interactive over here, man. Everybody a part of this community matters. Everybody's voice gets heard on this platform, bro. So I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Teddy Atlas versus Freddie Roach would be an awesome fight. Man, Teddy Atlas versus Freddie Roach. I think it would start off really, really weird. You know, it'd be a whole lot of hugging, and I think after about 62 seconds into the fight, Freddie Roach would gas out, and Teddy Atlas would knock him through the ropes. As much as I like Freddie Roach, he wouldn't win. But hold on, I will say this. Hold on, because when Alex Ariza, Goku kicked Freddie Roach, he took it like a man. It wasn't like Alex Ariza kicked him and Freddie Roach fell over like an old man. So, you know, the Parkinson's hasn't affected Roach in the way that everybody thinks it has. I think Roach would actually, I take back what I just said. I think Roach might actually give Atlas a run for his money now that I think about it. Because now that I remember that kick, Freddie Roach took that kick pretty well. And I don't think Teddy Atlas would have taken that karate kick from Alex Ariza. That he might have caved Teddy Atlas's chest in. You know, Freddie Roach takes punches from Manny Pacquiao on a daily basis. But, you know, Teddy Atlas is a active trainer too. So, I actually think it would be an interesting fight. If I had to put my money on one of them, based off that Goku kick, the Bruce Lee kick that Freddie Roach took and walked through it, I would say Freddie Roach would actually win that fight. Now, you couldn't let him fight for more than 20 seconds around, and it couldn't be more than a round and a half. But I think with a round and a half at 30 seconds, I think Freddie Roach would get with Teddy Atlas. I think he gets with him. Let's check out the chat. If boxing had its own currency, Mayweather's face would be on the $100 bill. Hey, man, Mayweather's face would be on every bill and the coins. But Roach denied Teddy. I don't know what I forgot. I watched the documentary and they got into a little bit of why they beefing. But I think, you know, that them two guys don't really like each other. And I think Teddy Atlas just has a problem with Pacquiao because of Freddie Roach. 2022, he'll run for vice presidency. Oh, okay. And then 2026 is when he'll run for, okay. Who's he running with? Is he running with that guy who's president now? I forgot I don't know how to pronounce his name. But is that who he's running with? Anthony Nwadi, 2022. That's what I thought. But I didn't know he was running for vice presidency. I thought he was going for the whole thing. But it would make sense for him to go for the secondary seat and get used to it and then go for the full presidency. Because that way he can be in office for a longer span of time. You know, he'll be vice president for, I guess, 4 years, and then president for I don't know how long they allow you to stay president in the Philippines, whether you get 2 terms or 1 term. But that would put him in power for about 8 to 10 years. Don King versus Bob Arum. Ooh. Unfortunately for Bob Arum, I think that fight will last about 1.5 seconds. we don't know how long Bob Earl was gonna last after he farts. He might fart and fall over, man. So if somebody was to punch him, he might turn to dust. I don't think it's a good matchup for Bob Earl. Now, if you wanted to put Bob Earl up against Joe Biden, the new president, I think it would be a better. I think it would be a better fight for him. Him and old slow Joe could fight it out. Or Bernie Sanders, they can have a chair match. They can sit down and have a stern match. No way, bro. Freddie is still active. That's what I'm saying. I had to think about that for a second. Because when I was, as soon as I said that, I remembered that kick that he took from Alex Ariza, and I'm like, you know what? Alex Ariza is a strength and condition coach, and kicked a 60-year-old man with Parkinson's, and he didn't even budge. I don't even think Freddie Roach actually even moved when he kicked. I don't even think he moved when he kicked him. So, Freddie Roach is crazy, man. To be quite honest with you, Freddie Roach is a loose cannon for real. He's set to go off at any moment. Teddy, I always say Manny is on PEDs because he's jealous. Simply put, he's jealous he's jealous of the success that Freddie Roach had, and he's jealous of the fact that Manny Pacquiao went through a few of his fighters. He hasn't forgiven Tim Bradley for losing to Manny Pacquiao after he gave Tim Bradley the fireman speech and all that stuff. So, it is what it's just straight jealousy, man. Let's see. Pacquiao versus you guys. I that's the one I'm hoping for. But as I think about it more, if he's going for money and legacy, he can let those three guys work that out. The only problem with that is you guys is the wild card in there. So even if Spence and Crawford do fight each other, that it won't be for all the belts. So eventually somebody would have to fight you guys too. So that throws a longer time span in there for everything, which is why I think it might end up playing out in that tournament fashion to where Pacquiao fights you guys, the 3 and 4 fight each other, and then Spence and Crawford fight each other. Number 1 and number 2 fight each other, and then we get that unification fight at the end of the year. It could actually play out in that order. It's fun to talk about this Triple G possibility, though, because I think that would bring in huge dollar signs, way bigger than what the Ryan Garcia fight would have brought in, way bigger than what the Conor McGregor fight would have brought in. But at the end of the day, I would say that Triple G fight would be a long shot, just like the Mayweather fight would be a long shot. But let's move on. He is running with Duty's daughter. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Oh, is that the guy? Is that the president of the Philippines? The guy I always see who's the president of the Philippines at the current moment. So his daughter is running for the presidency, and Pacquiao's running as her vice president. Is that what you're saying? Laugh my butt off. Bob Earl will get snapped like a... Hey, it would be the funniest thing in history, man. I actually, if Bob Earl faced up with Joe Biden, I think Bob Earl would give Biden a run for his money. I think Bob Earl, I think he knows a little bit more about boxing than the president does. And you might see the president run for Secret Service in that fight. In my opinion, Freddie Roach win the fight versus Teddy. Roach is a former professional boxer. Atlas never fought professional fight. I didn't know. I thought Atlas actually fought, but I know Teddy fought, and then he got sick and had to stop fighting. So that's why I think when he got kicked by Alex Ariza, he didn't really budge because he's already used to getting hit. He does have Parkinson's, but he takes Pacquiao's punches every day. So, and other fighters' punches too, heavyweight fighters, middleweight fighters. So he's pretty much used to that. I would have liked to see Freddie Roach's team jump Alex Ariza after he kicked Freddie Roach though, but they didn't even have Freddie Roach's back. They ain't do nothing but try to break the fight up. After you kick an old man and they don't even do nothing. They should have beat Alex Ariza to death in there. Doherty's daughter will run for presidency, and Manny will be be the vice president. It depends on their election party as of now. Doherty's daughter is who the party chose to be their candidate. Very interesting. G-Box, are you in the Philippines? Are you actually over there? Because I'm looking for somebody who not only speaks the language, but who actually can deliver some news about what's going on in the Philippines for me and be a part of the show. So if you actually over there and you know what's going on in the Philippines, or if you just speak it and you can understand the language, hey, get at me after the live stream. I definitely I would love to work with you, bro. Teddy Atlas will win versus Freddie Roach in a debate. In a boxing debate on the best of all times, Freddie Roach will win. Hey, who wins in the trainer? Who's the better trainer, Freddie Roach or Teddy Atlas? Who's the better trainer? Because y'all know Teddy Atlas had one of the greatest of all times. He had Mike Tyson at one point. So you know they both got legendary fighters under their belt. Ortiz versus you guys. You know, everybody keeps talking about Virgil Ortiz, and I haven't seen him fight yet. I do hear his name all the time. I just haven't seen him fight yet. So I'm gonna have to check some footage out from him when I get a chance. But we got to see what's gonna happen with you guys, man. How does you guys want to fit himself into these talks, these negotiations? Because he stands to gain a lot of money off this whole situation if he plays it right. Doherty is the current president. Very interesting. Not only is he jealous with Freddie's success, Freddie took away Mike from him. I've heard that before too, that Freddie Roach trained Mike Tyson. How long did Freddie Roach actually train Mike Tyson? So they both had Tyson. I think Freddie Roach has a better resume than Teddy Atlas does. I think he's had more world champions than Teddy Atlas has had. But Teddy Atlas I think he might have got started a little earlier than Freddie Roach did. I don't be surprised if Manny will fight you guys for his belt, and I wouldn't be surprised either. I think that's the road he should go, because if he's really going for trying to unify, then that would be the best route, because he could fight you guys, get his belt back. Spence and Crawford can finally get it on, unify, and then the winner can completely unify with Pacquiao. Shout out from Molina. Are you from Molina? Okay. That's what's up, bro. Definitely, man. Get at me, man. As soon as you get a chance, bro, I would definitely put you in the videos. You know, if you can send me footage, or if you can send me audio, or whatever news you would like to break that's going on in the Philippines as far as sports, politics, you know, whatever's going on over there, man. You know, because I have a big American audience, but I have an even bigger Filipino audience. So, you know, I want to do things that they would enjoy too, as well as the American audience. So definitely, if you want to get down with that, let me know, bro. Anytime. All right, man. So let me finish this article. I never got to finish it. We got into Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach beating each other up in the old man face off. It got real funny around here. All right, let me finish this article off real fast. Okay, so we went through all the fighters, which were Mikey Garcia, Keith Thurman, Yordenis, you guys, Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, Gennady Golovkin, Terrence Crawford, and Errol Spence Jr. Those are all the potential names Pacquiao could be fighting her or announcing her in the next week. Fans would like to see Pacquiao take on Spence Jr. or Crawford, but those would be perilous fights for the inactive Filipino star. With the layoff Manny has had, he probably should be looking for a tune-up level opponent against a 140 or 147 pounder. I totally agree with that, man. I think he's been inactive too long to jump straight into a Crawford fight. But like I said, he did look pretty good in the training videos that I've seen so far. So I'm kind of torn about which way he should go with this. I seriously think he should go with Yordenis, you guys, but you know, it's up to Pacquiao on what he feels like is best for him at the moment. And if he's only fighting twice, he either has to go with Spence Crawford first or you guys first. I think that would be those three names. You could probably cement those names in stone for one of those guys are going to be who he announces. Because other than money, nobody else makes sense. Other than him going for a money fight, Triple G would be a money fight. Mayweather would be a money fight. The rest of these low-tier fighters, it makes no sense for him to come back and fight those guys because they do nothing for his legacy. And, a lot of those guys, like when he fought Broner, he took a pay cut. He fought Thurman, he took a pay cut. So he's not looking to take any more pay cuts in my mind. So I would say a lot of these lower-tier names, you can kind of scratch them off the list. Fans would like to see Pacquiao take on Spence. Okay, I went through that part already. If Pacquiao wanted to get the fans' attention, he would set up a fight against Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko, or Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, who was we talking about last night? Pacquiao versus Davis would have been an amazing fight if Tank didn't just break his hand. It would have been a perfect fight for him to come back and tune up for those two guys if he didn't just break his hand. I think that fight, there's no way that fight can happen now. That's saying there's no way Tank can even fight this year. So I don't see that one happening. And we also talked about Vasyl Lomachenko last night, possibly taking on Manny Pacquiao. It would be a decent fight. I don't think Vasyl Lomachenko can hang with Pacquiao, but as far as seeing Lomachenko come back, have a return fight, see what he still got left in the tank, perhaps he could still give Manny Pacquiao a good run for his money. Because in my mind, I think the Teofimo Lopez fight was a fluke. I think because he was hurt, you got to give Lomachenko a little bit of leeway. How do they finish off that portion of the article? Devin Haney. What do y'all think about Manny Pacquiao taking on Devin Haney? I've never seen Devin Haney fight. I was supposed to watch his last fight. I tried to stream it, and the stream would never go through, so I ended up missing the fight. So I don't know what Devin Haney is all about at this point. You guys could tell me better what y'all think. How y'all think Pacquiao could match up with Devin Haney? And then you got Teofimo Lopez. I do think there's a possibility of that fight happening. I don't think Teofimo Lopez versus Gambosa has been signed yet, but they're talking about him fighting Gambosa in New York City on Puerto Rican Day. So I'm not sure if Teofimo Lopez is available at the moment, but I don't think his fight is set in stone yet, so it could be a possibility he goes back down and fights Lopez for all those belts, which would be, once again, like you said, adding to my legacy. Wow, how legendary would it be if Pacquiao went down, fought Teofimo, and took all those belts from him? What do y'all think about that? I'll give y'all a few seconds to digest that and let me know what y'all think about that, man. I'm probably going to go for about 2 hours, man, so we can talk for about another 30 minutes. But after that, I'm going to probably get off here, man. I might get back on later. So, out of those names, and you can exclude Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko, who do y'all think has the better chance of scoring a Pacquiao fight? And I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna take some of the questions out of the chat while y'all get to that. In my opinion, Manny will run for presidency year 2022 election. I predict Manny fights Spence year 2022. I can see that happening too. I can see him fighting Spence either at the end of 2021 or early 2022 if he takes on you guys and potentially wins, or if he decides to take on Crawford and potentially wins. Because it could play out in several different scenarios. He could fight you guys, go fight Spence, go fight Crawford. He could fight all three of those guys. He could fight Triple G, let those three guys work it out, and then fight the winner in 2022. A lot of things are possible here. But out of Devin Haney, Vasil Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, because we can't add Gervonta Davis in there anymore because he broke his hand. Who do y'all think has the best shot of scoring that fight with Manny Pacquiao, and why? Mayweather won't let that happen, though. Yeah, Mayweather, Pac said Mayweather won't let that happen. Definitely won't let that happen, man, unless there are huge dollar signs involved in it. And the problem with the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight for right now, for first, like I said, it might happen later, but right now, since the world isn't completely open and they can't fill a stadium up, there's no way that fight's going to happen, because there's no way for Mayweather to make the type of money. Now, there are some states, I take that back, portions of that back, because there are some states that are fully open that will let venues have, a certain amount of fans in the stadium. And if they did it outside, I think you could put more people in a stadium. There was talk about it happening in Florida because they just built a new Marlins stadium down there. And there could be a way that they can get around all the protocol and put more people in the stadium by having it outside. So that's a possibility that he could fight Floyd, and they'll do it in the outside stadium in sometime in the spring in Florida, where it's always warm, so they could actually do it outside. That's a possibility. But Haney is a joke. Christopher Cantu says Haney is a joke. What's up with you, Christopher? Appreciate you for coming through, man. We got 21 people in the chat, 22 right now. If you could Pacquiao the like button for me. Left hook it, right hook it, jab it, and uppercut it. Knock it all the way out for me, man, so we can get some more people into the chat while we still in here. And I'm going to get back to these questions. Thanks, man, for respecting Pacquiao, especially from black men like you. I thought most black men hate him. Hey, believe me, I don't have a lot of black friends when it comes to talking about boxing. Everybody's a Mayweather fan. Everybody loves Errol, Spence, Terrence Crawford, and all the other African-American fighters. Nothing wrong with that, but I go with talent and personality and likability over race. Sometimes race plays a role, but not often with me. I'm not a racist person, so I would never let race cloud my judgment, put it that way. I respect all the Filipino people. Y'all showed when I first started doing videos for Pacquiao, I didn't know how it was going to be perceived, being that I'm black. And, Manny Pacquiao, most of his fans are Filipino. I didn't know how it'd be perceived, and it got a lot of love from the Filipino people. There's some haters out there, too, but mostly love, man. And I love doing Pacquiao content, boxing content, and sports content, man. I appreciate that. If Pac punched Tio, he would backflip too. Hey, man, I think the Pacquiao Teofimo fight it makes sense because Teofimo has all those belts. I think Teofimo is actually a little overrated. I think Pacquiao can beat him decisively, and become the unified champion at 135 very easily if he wanted to. Now, does he need to go back down and weight to 130 to be trying to take on? No, I wouldn't say that. Does he need to go down to 140? I don't know, but it makes sense. Tio too light. He fights at 135. Renez got 2 belts at 140. Would be interesting. Never heard of him. Renez. I have to look him up to see what he's about. How you think they face off? Bad Tito. How you think Renez and Pacquiao face off, man? Who wins that fight if they did? If that's his tune-up fight? Because Pacquiao said in an interview about a month ago, there's some guys from Mexico, there's some guys from Canada who want to fight him. And we don't know who's picking yet. We don't know how the negotiations have went with Spence, Crawford, and you guys. They might have fell apart. We know the negotiation with Ryan fell apart. Ryan don't know when to shut up. When it's Ryan don't know when it's in his own interest to be quiet. Pac-Man needs to fight Bud. Garfield, Gerardo Garfield, Gerald, Gerardo, or it might be Gerald. It might be Geraldo, or Gerald Fields. I think it's Gerald Fields though. Pac-Man needs to fight Bud. What's up with you, Gerald? If I messed your name up, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people with exotic names in the chat, so I'm trying not to mess y'all names up. Christopher Cantu Pacquiao versus Charlo, either one of the brothers. We talked about that yesterday, man. Which one specifically would you rather see Pacquiao take on? I think it's a possibility he can fight one of the Charlos. It would be an interesting fight if he can take on Triple G. He can fight one of the Charlos. Pacquiao versus Charlo. Okay, I did that one. Thanks for this info. No problem. Ryko Fitness. Hope you sub, man. Hope you hit the like button, man. I appreciate you coming through and joining the chat. Ramirez got 2 belts, WBO, WBA, and 140. Good tune-up for Pac. I gotta look into this guy now. I really have to look in to see what he's all about and grab some straps. It would be interesting for Pacquiao, man, if he could pull that one off. If he could go down and wait and still dominate, man. I think it's a better fit for him at 140. I'm a Filipino. I'm a big fan of Manny, but I like boxing ability. Crawford needs Spence too. I would much rather see Crawford and Spence get it on, and then Pacquiao fight the winner. But no telling which way he's gonna go with this. One thing is not ducking. Exactly, he's definitely not ducking, man. If he's willing to take on and he's willing to entertain all these guys, ducking something you can never put next to Manny Pacquiao's name ever. All right, let me finish this article off, man. Okay, if Pacquiao wanted to get, hold on, we'll finish that part. So we talked about all those names: Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez. Manny walk around at 140. So it's possible that he could take on one of these 140 guys. My question is, though, is Teofimo the biggest name down there, and would that be the perfect fit if he did go down? But Teofimo's at 130 instead of 140, so I'm not sure if Teofimo will be. I think if they fought, his belts wouldn't be on the line. It would only be for bragging rights. True. Spence and Crawford first, then Pac will fight the winner. That's how I'm hoping he plays it, man. I hope he goes fight you guys and then says, you know what, I'll let them 2 guys work it out, and I'll fight the winner if you guys work it out. Maybe that's what he was negotiating with Crawford. Maybe he said, okay, if you 2 guys fight and you win, maybe he's already worked that out with both of those guys. Maybe he had a conversation with both of those guys, said, hey, if you 2 guys fight, whoever wins, I'll give you a 50-50 split of the money if you let me fight. If I get to fight you guys, if Spence backs off the you guys fight, let Pacquiao fight you guys, and then he goes and fights Crawford. Maybe they've all worked something out to where whoever gets to unify will get a 50-50 split with Pacquiao. And I think that would be fair for all 3 of those guys involved. And it would make it a lot of fun. Like I said, it would be almost like a boxing tournament. Number 3 takes on number 4, or number 4 takes on number 3, which would be you guys, Pacquiao, and then number 2 takes on number 1, which would be Crawford versus Spence. I think it would be awesome if it played out in that order, and if they announced it as a tournament, like that, all 4 of those guys announced their fight at the same time. I think it would be so much excitement around that, and it would bring a lot of hype back to the sport of boxing, man. And it would make the 147-pound division the talk of boxing, because they're trying to they're trying to modernize the sport and how the sport works and make it better. Maybe that's why the WBA stripped Pacquiao. Maybe there was a reason for them stripping Pacquiao. All right, let's finish this article off. It's not as bad for Pacquiao to fight those guys as Ryan Garcia, because they've won world titles and they are not perceived as Instagram fighters. If Pacquiao wants to get an easy payday against an opponent that fans would put up with, then he should choose the former 4-division world champion Mikey Garcia. Very interesting. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think Pacquiao versus Mikey is a better fit than Pacquiao versus Ryan? And why would Pacquiao take on Mikey instead of taking on you guys? Fury cheated versus Wilder. I don't know if he cheated, man. I do know one thing from the pictures and everything, the videos that I've seen. He was denting the side of Deontay Wilder's head with his gloves. He was definitely beating the side of his head up with his glove. I will say that people would likely give Pacquiao a free pass if he were to fight Mikey because he has been out of the ring for a year and a half. Mikey used to be a good fighter. Then when he fought Mikey used to be a good fighter when he fought in the lower weight classes. So it's not as if Pacquiao would be facing a totally unproven guy like Ryan Garcia. Any fight involving Ryan Garcia as Pacquiao's opponent would be considered a joke and a sad money grab. A rematch with Thurman wouldn't be a nasty fight for Pacquiao because of the one time would market the war to be helped by giving many interviews, but it's unclear whether the boxing world would be interested in purchasing the matchup on pay-per-view. They already saw Pacquiao beat Thurman once, and a rematch might not interest fans, given that neither fighter has fought since then. It wouldn't be wrong if Thurman hadn't gotten so fat after he lost to Pacquiao and just sat around doing nothing. Pacquiao is a senator in the Philippines, which gives him an excuse for not fighting during the pandemic. Thurman doesn't have that excuse. He's just got fat and and sat around for the last year and a half. And that's why he's been ignored by Errol Spence when he asked him for a fight. And that's where they ended. That's very interesting, man. I don't see the Thurman fight happening at all. Thurman, he already got beat. He's been sitting around for 2 years doing nothing. He's been inactive. I think Adrian Broner has a better shot at fighting Pacquiao at this point than Keith Thurman. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hell no, he needs that belt back. I'm saying, man, go for that strap. Go ahead and get that strap back. Let Crawford and Spence fight it out, and then you just take on the winner of that, man. And even if he did that and fought, if he did that, it would add to his legacy because he would have added another championship, victory to his legacy. He could say he beat another champion, and then he could go unify all belts with the winner of whoever wins Spence Crawford. Alvin says, compare Sam Langford and Manny Pacquiao. I've never heard of Sam Langford, to be honest with you. There's so many new fighters out here, man. It's hard to keep up with everybody in every weight class. That's the reason I don't try to cover every weight class, because you can't be an expert on everybody, man, to be completely honest with you. You can't know everybody's boxing career. Even though a lot of these channels claim that they follow everybody's career, only the ones that have staffs behind them can actually follow and enjoy every boxer, because there's not just one guy covering every boxer. You wouldn't be able to give accurate news. You would be giving a lot of BS news to people, which I'm not gonna do that. Wilder is a better boxer, y'all. Wilder, I do think he's better. He's more technically sound than Tyson Fury, but I think he needs to develop his speed and his footwork to defeat Fury in the rematch. It'll be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see if he shuts up, goes takes a good tune up, and waits about a year and then gets the Fury rematch. But he's gonna have to keep his mouth shut for about a year before Fury's gonna take him seriously again. And Fury wins versus. I don't know if he wins that rematch. If Deontay Wilder can get his footwork and speed together, go work with Evander Holyfield, or better yet, if he can get in touch with Lennox Lewis and go get some work with Lennox Lewis and learn some of that stuff Emmanuel Stewart taught him, then I think Deontay Wilder can put on a sick show in the rematch with Tyson Fury. Mikey is better than Ryan because Mikey have already solid boxing fans. I think it would sell more than Ryan fight. I just don't. It's just not gonna be a good fight. I think he would give him a decent fight, but you gotta realize Mikey Garcia's been off almost a year, and he's almost at heavyweight status. He weighs like 180 pounds right now, so I'm not sure if he can even make weight. So I think you can take Mikey Garcia off the table. Like I said, I was just on his live right after I dropped my video. He went live on Instagram, and he still looks big, man. He still looks big. It's not like he's been training the past couple of months to prepare for this. So I would take Mikey off the table simply because I don't know if he can get down to 147 in 2.5 months. He weighs almost 180 pounds last time I heard. Pac versus Mikey makes sense. I just don't know if it can happen. If Mikey can make weight, it might. I did ask him on Instagram. I put it in there 3 times. I'm like, hey, Pacquiao just said he's announcing this fight this week. Are you fighting Pacquiao? I asked him again. He didn't respond. I asked him one more time. He still didn't respond. He was just making jokes about his bodyguard being so fat. But he's actually a big guy too, so I don't know why he was teasing him. I think Pac-Man could do whatever he wants now since he's been stripped from the belt. Raw Dolfo is how my name is said. Rodolfo. Okay. Is that Filipino? Or is that Hispanic? Well, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. It says Lopez, so obviously that's Hispanic. It's not Filipino. My bad. So, Rodolfo. Cool name, bro. Appreciate you, man, for coming through. You've been participating in the chat, man. The past couple of times I done got on here, so I really appreciate you coming through, man. Do you agree Teddy Atlas say Wilder do never have boxing ability? I don't agree with that. I think Wilder's way more talented than people give him credit for. I just don't think he's at the peak of his talent yet. I don't think he's gotten there yet. I don't think Mark Breland brought everything that he had to offer out of him. Maybe they just didn't see. Obviously, they didn't see eye to eye on quite a bit of stuff because they're going at it now. But I'm pretty sure that there was some reasoning behind why he got knocked out or got beat so bad the last fight. I don't think Mikey Garcia is worthy of a pack. I don't either, especially not being that he done ballooned up to 180 pounds. Who was right about Holyfield? Just look at his son. Interesting. I mean, you was right about Holyfield. Just look at his son. Interesting, man. I mean, I think Holyfield would be a great help for Deontay Wilder. I think him or Lennox Lewis would be a perfect hit. I think Lennox Lewis would be a little bit more because he could teach him how to use his jab correctly. If it was one thing Lennox Lewis was a master at, it was using his jab. He might not have been the most powerful I didn't like Lennox Lewis, to be honest with you, when he was fighting. I couldn't stand Lennox Lewis. I thought Lennox Lewis was overrated, and But if it was one thing I can say about Lewis that nobody else in his era matched him at was his jab. He had the best jab of anybody of that era. And I think he could teach Deontay Wilder how to properly throw a jab and keep Tyson Fury off of him when he's trying to do that little Russian move, when he rushes in and throws those little weird flurries. That's why I think speed and foot speed and hand speed would beat Tyson Fury really easily, because he's a come forward straight line fighter. And if you can just get out of the way of his long arms by moving side to side and throwing combinations to the body, what Deontay Wilder needs to do is he needs lateral movement, and he needs to throw body combinations as Tyson Fury comes in to slow Tyson Fury down. He needs to move laterally, duck, and throw body combos to keep Fury off of him. But he needs somebody to teach him how to do that. I think Lennox Lewis, knowing what Emmanuel Lewis taught him, would be perfect to teach Deontay Wilder, and or Holyfield, being that Holyfield also was an undersized heavyweight, so he could teach him how to defend himself at being undersized. Hey, bro. Thanks, man. No problem, Rodolfo. I appreciate you, man, for coming through, man. I really do. Hey, bro, I'm looking forward for you to fight Spence or Crawford. I think you're ready for them. Me, who would I fight? If I could get a fight right now, who would I fight? If I could fight one fighter, if they paid me $2 million, now if they paid me $5 million, I would fight Adrian Broner right now. If YouTube put up $5 million, they paid Adrian Broner, 20, and they gave me 5, I would fight AB. I think I could give AB a run for his money, but he would have to fight me at 135. We'd have to fight it. We couldn't do it at 147. I weigh about 140 pounds. I walk around about 140. My normal walking around weight is about 135. So I would take on Broner at 135. $5 million. You bring me $5 million right now, I go up against Broner at 135. We can't do it at 140 or at 147. You give me $2 million, I'll fight Ryan Garcia tomorrow. I'll take on Ryan. I think I can beat Ryan. 130 pounds, I beat Ryan. I knock Ryan out the ring. Y'all know I'm joking, right? Nah, but I would actually fight. If they gave me $5 million, I would fight Adrian Broner. I'd fight Ryan Garcia for $2 million. I think I can get Ryan to run for his money. He's probably more faster than I am, but I could probably maybe bully him a little bit at 130. He seemed a little slimmer than, I think I'm a little bulkier at 130 than he is. Let's see. I got lost in the chat now. Okay. Thanks, man. Hey, bro. What is the secret for 42 years old Manny still have good blinding speed? I mean, as long as he has speed, Alvin Vincent Alvarez. Appreciate you for coming through, Alvin Vincent Alvarez, and dropping that comment, man. I think Pacquiao's speed is always has been the determining factor in his whole career. I think that's the reason why he beats most fighters. I think that's the reason he's better than most fighters. And then the power kind of comes second. And I think other fighters can't contend with his speed because they don't work on speed. And actually what I think is better than his speed that never gets credit is his stamina. His stamina is actually what carries him through most fights, is the fact that he can actually fuel the machine for 12 rounds straight. So the fact that he runs so much and he stays so active, he plays basketball, he keeps his legs in great shape. Those are the secrets to Pacquiao's success, really. Name is from Spain, but I'm Mexican. I appreciate the news on the Pac-Man. No problem, Rodolfo. I appreciate you coming through, man. It's from Spain. That's awesome, bro. Was you actually born in Spain? Are you in the U.S.? Are you in Spain? Are you in Mexico? I think he can do what he wants now, but I will be happy if he fights Spence because that's what his image is, a warrior. Yeah, Pacquiao, he's not a ducker, man. He don't duck nobody, so it's possible for him to take on anybody right now from 135 to 154. You can throw any of those names out there as the potential fight. Who's most likely? It would be those three names at welterweight, and then maybe Triple G, Floyd, and Canelo. I think those are the more likely opponents that he would probably be taking on. But Anybody from 135 to 140, 54 can get it right now, I think, for Pacquiao. Tyson Fury cheated because he kept hitting Wilder really hard, and that meant Wilder couldn't hit him back. Not a fair fight, bomb squad. Wilder kept getting hit because Wilder tried to stay in front of him and fight him, fight his fight, and that was a stupid plan because he kept getting smacked on top of the side of the head. He kept getting smacked all on the side of the head. So if he wanted to win the fight and not just try to scrap it out with Fury, he should have been using lateral movement, should have been ducking, and he should have been going to Fury's body for them first 4 or 5 rounds so he can slow Fury down. And he wouldn't have had to contend with Fury so much in the later rounds. But he tried to go head-to-head with Fury, and that ain't... Deontay Wilder's not big enough to go head-to-head with Tyson Fury. He's not that type of fighter. And that's the reason why he lost. And, you know, a guy like Lennox Lewis, a guy like Evander Holyfield, a trainer like Freddie Roach, wouldn't let him go in with a brawl-it-out mentality. Hell yeah, I would too for $5 million at 147. I couldn't do it at 147, man. I walk... Because at 140, I'm going to be too heavy at 147. I got to eat crazy to make 147 pounds. Like Pacquiao does, and I can't eat like that. You know, I wish I could, but I can't. When I was in high school, I was 154. That was my walk. I was around 150 to 154. That's the biggest I've ever been in my life is around 155 pounds. And I was eating like a mad dog. You know, I was eating like a teenager to get 154 pounds. And I was really, really athletic. I'm 5'8" and a half, and I was 154 pounds, and I could dunk a basketball. I could actually get up there and dunk a basketball. So I was, you know, I could move, at that age, I could move 154 pounds around. Now, I'm not sure if I can move as good as I could at 154 or 147 as I could do when I was a teenager. 140, I walk around 140, between 140 and 143. So I would have to eat pretty heavily to make 147 pounds. So if he fought me at 135 or 130, you know, 135, I'd have to drop 5 pounds. I would be willing to do it at 140, but 135 I think would be better because I would force him to lose about 11 pounds. So hopefully he would come in weight drained. That way I can take advantage of him being weight drained. Pac says, so you box? I've never boxed professionally. I will say this. When I was about 19, I ran into I went to the club one day, and I got into it with some bouncers. And these guys, they tried to rough me up and throw me out the club or whatever. And one of the guys, he just happened to be a boxing coach. So he was like, man, I was impressed with the way you fought us back. I was surprised you being so short that you actually fought back with us. So, you know, I run a boxing gym. If you want to come to my boxing gym, you can come through. I'll train you for free. So I go to the dude's boxing gym or whatever. He did try to train me for free. I did like 2 or 3 lessons with him. And I ended up not going back. He told me one day, he was like, man, I want you to run home. I want you to run all the way home because you need to build your stamina up. So next time you come here, you got to run home and you got to run back. You got to run here and you got to run back home. And, I'm like 19 at the time, man. So I was doing a lot of other stuff probably I shouldn't have been doing at the time. So you know how a teenager thinks, man, and how a hood dude thinks. I'm like, this crazy. Like, this dude is crazy. He think I'm going to run home and then run back up here tomorrow. So, yeah, I went on chill at my homie's house. I said, man, forget this stuff. I ain't, and then, I end up getting more into boxing later on, So, I wish I would have pursued that opportunity because I probably would have had a couple of amateur fights under my belt. But now I just train with boxing, man. I've been in some fights in my life, a bunch of fights. And would I pursue an amateur career? I don't know at this point. It might be a little too late now at this point. And then in Louisville, it's not a big boxing scene anyway. So, I don't know if it would make me any money to try to even have an amateur career here in Kentucky. I would have to go to another state to try to build an amateur career up. So, yeah, that's the answer to that question. I box? I practice. I train with boxing right now. I did try it when I was younger, but I never got to the point where I actually took a fight. Rodolfo Lopez says U.S. He's in the U.S. Okay, bro. What part of the U.S. in? You in the South? You down in Texas, Arizona, or where you at? Is it cold? Where you at? Pac says speed, combination, footwork, power, stamina, experience for Pacquiao. He's got the whole gamut, man, when it comes to a professional boxer, and you don't get that most of the time when it comes to boxing, man. You don't get guys who can do it all, basically, who got it all in their arsenal, and Pacquiao has it all in his arsenal. The only thing that Pacquiao lacks with sometimes is moving his head when he comes in. Sometimes he comes in straightforward, but he only does that is because he's throwing punches as he comes in. So 9 times out of 10, he's gonna catch them before he catches a serious punch. But in the Marquez fight, we saw what happens when he does get caught coming in and not moving his head properly. It's Crawford fight. Is Crawford fight on Pac? Pac been kind of quiet. He hasn't announced it yet. The announcement's coming this week. He put that up on Twitter earlier. Bad Tito. We don't know what day. It might be today. It might be tomorrow. I've been checking online to see if he dropped the news yet, but I'll go ahead and check again. Boxing News 24/7 says Pacquiao ready to return soon. News coming soon. News coming soon. Everybody's just saying the news is coming real soon, man. So they haven't announced it. They haven't dropped the announcement yet. Who exactly the fight is going to be against, but it is coming soon, man. And their potential names. He just announced last Friday, that he was negotiating with Terrence Crawford. So being that he announced this week, he's decided. That lets me know he's already negotiated with Crawford. He's already negotiated with Mayweather. He's already negotiated with you guys. He's already negotiated with Ryan. All these potential names out there, he's obviously already got their offer and their deal on the table, and he's picked the best one that he feels like out of that bunch. So we'll find out here in the next few hours or the next few days, hopefully, about who Pacquiao decides to take on. Manny Pacquiao is not a ducker. He's a GOAT of boxing. He is the greatest of all time. Melvin DeSalvez. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, but Melvin says Manny Pacquiao is not a ducker. He's the GOAT of boxing. He is the greatest of all time. We spoke about that earlier, too, and how he can add to his legend, Melvin. If he took on Triple G, Melvin, hey, would that make him the best boxer in boxing history if he fought Triple G and beat him and became nine divisions? He spanned 9 divisions because I believe Triple G has a belt that Pacquiao at 147. Pacquiao could go take from him. Alvin Vincent says, do you agree after Manny 2 fights he needs to retire? I think it depends on how he looks and who he fights. If he fights 2 tune-ups, I would still want to see him see if he can take on Spence or Crawford. I wouldn't want to see him just fight 2 tune-ups and then leave the sport, especially if he won both of those tune-ups. But if he fought Spence and Crawford and beat both of them, then I would want to see him pursue Canelo. I would want to see him pursue Golovkin. I would want to see that Mayweather rematch, because obviously Pacquiao has plenty more in the tank, and there's no need to waste all that gas if you still got it. You might as well run it out until the tank is empty. If he beats both Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, he shouldn't retire, because that means he has. He can retire, and that would be the greatest retirement in boxing history. But if he beats both of those guys, what else can you say? Why not pursue bigger fights? When is the fight against boxing? What you mean by that? TBS 13. When is the fight against boxing? You mean when is Pacquiao's next fight? It's gonna be either in April, May, or June. I'm pretty sure it's either gonna be in April or May. Well, I would say May 1, which is Derby Day, Cinco de Mayo. Rodolfo says I walk around at 155, so slimming down to 147 would be easy. I would need at least a month to build stamina back up, which is true. I would rather fight, if I was going to fight Broner or Ryan Garcia, I wouldn't want to fight them at their weight. I would want to take it down at least 5 to 10 pounds. So Broner fights at 147. He would have to meet me at 135. If I fought Ryan Garcia, I think he can make 135 or 140. I would have to fight him at 125. You know, I would much rather for us both to have to go down 10 pounds and be weight drained than have to fight him at his specific weight where he's good at. In my opinion, you are correct. 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao have good stamina, but it's a sad Teddy Aki. I don't know what you meant by that. I guess you meant that Teddy Atlas don't like Pacquiao because he's better. I would agree with you, Vince. Pacquiao's stamina is one of a kind, man. His power is one of a kind. His foot speed, his legs are built, like a oak tree. So he brings a lot of things to the table that normal fighters don't bring to the table. Rodolfo said Pacquiao is just one of those freaks of nature that we'll have to enjoy now and appreciate his fights while he's still fighting. Exactly, man. You're never gonna get this again. And just imagine if he do announce a Triple G fight, man. What that means for his legacy, and what that means for the sport of boxing and what he's trying to accomplish. I'll give Pacquiao so much credit because Pacquiao's constantly trying to outdo himself and not settling for the things he's already done within the sport. He's constantly trying to outdo himself. So you gotta give people like that credit. And as far as race, somebody brought up race earlier. I would never let race cloud my judgment as far as why I enjoy a fighter. I would never say, hey, I like this guy simply because he's black and not because he's talented or because he's the best at doing something. I like people because they're either the best at doing something or their personality fits along my guidelines of personality, and their talent is up to par. I don't like people because they're black or white or Filipino. You can be whatever race with me. I don't care. As long as you're talented and your talent level it is something I've never seen before. I can't sit up there and deny that you're the best or something. I appreciate you for being open-hearted, largely without prejudice. Man, I try to be, man. Prejudice is what's tearing the world apart. People being closed-minded and having blinders on their eyes about somebody being a different color or, in a different weight class. This guy boxes under this banner, so I don't like him. Or, it's all stupid, man. We all grow up, man, really. That's what I say to people like that, man. Grow up, man. It's a bigger world out here than just how small you're trying to make it. What's a reason Manny have difficulty fight versus Juan Manuel Marquez? He got knocked out basically because Marquez just timed him, stepped on it. It was the perfect shot, man. It was the perfect scenario for Marquez. Pacquiao came in not moving his head. Marquez threw the perfect punch, and not only threw the perfect punch, but stepped on Pacquiao's foot at the same time. And it was just a perfect storm in Marquez's favor. Fortunately, it went against Pacquiao, and I'm pretty sure Pacquiao would never, ever, ever in his life make that mistake. That was a costly mistake, man. It could have ended his whole career. It could have derailed everything that Pacquiao was trying to do at the time by one simple not, ducking his head. Simply from that, could have really derailed everything. Luckily, we dealing with a special athlete here. And Pacquiao knew how to roll with fans thinking he was done, and he knows how to keep himself in shape. And he came back and he showed improve. He didn't just come back and say, "Hey, I'm gonna fight low tier fighters and pad my stats." No, he came back and he battled it out with the best guys and rebuilt his name and his legacy. So can't be nothing but proud of Pacquiao for that, man. Pacquiao will drop Spence. It could happen, man. I think Pacquiao's speed is way over the level of Errol Spence's speed. And I mentioned that in a video after Spence fought, and hey, I think I'm the first one who talked about Spence's sloppy footwork. I took a lot of flack for it, but about a month later, then Pacquiao came out and said the same thing. Like, man, his footwork is sloppy. He's slow. He's moving slow. Not to take away from his talent. He's still very talented and a powerful, big fighter. But I think footwork and speed is going to give Errol Spence a lot of trouble. But I still think he has enough to beat Crawford. I think Pacquiao is more crafty than all of those guys, and he has a lot more experience. And experience, always outweighs youth and just being hungry. Pacquiao fighting who? We don't know yet, man. Potentially Crawford, potentially Spence, potentially Golovkin, potentially Mikey. You guys, you name it. Pacquiao could possibly fight him at this point. Pacquiao, LOL. If Pacquiao beat Triple G, I wonder what kind of a BS Mayweather would say this time. If Pacquiao beats Triple G, Mayweather is going to be forgotten in the sport of boxing. If Pacquiao fights Triple G and wins, I don't think anybody's going to care about Floyd Mayweather anymore. He would be a forgotten name in the sport of boxing. I think that's what Pacquiao's trying to do. He's trying to cement his name as that guy in the sport of boxing for this generation. And to a lot of people, he's still neck and neck with Floyd Mayweather, and it's going to take something spectacular for him to accomplish, for him to take a giant leap above Mayweather in legacy. It's going to depend on who he chooses to fight. If he beat Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, I think his legacy to me, his legacy is already over Floyd. But he has to do something for Floyd fans to put him above Floyd. He has to accomplish something that'll make Floyd fans even say, wow, okay, yeah, he is that man. He is better, actually, than Mayweather. Since Floyd fans think that he beat him, fighting Triple G could be the thing to make Floyd fans finally believe that Pacquiao's better. Or beating Errol Spence could be that thing. Beating Crawford could be that thing. We don't know yet. Obviously there's something motivating Pacquiao to want to take on these young lions, man. And whatever that is, I hope he accomplishes it, man, because he deserves it. At this point, his legacy's already cemented. But if he wants to surpass other legendary names in the sport, like Ali, he's got one more hurdle to jump, and that could be conquering 9 divisions, or that could be unifying the championship. It's up to him to decide what exactly that's going to be. All right, man, I'm going to roll through the last few comments in the chat. It's been 2 hours. I think I'm going to get out of here. I might get back on a little later. If everybody, all 34 people in here right now, if y'all smash the like button at the same time, I'll get back on here in about 2 hours, and we can talk some more for about another hour. If everybody smash the like button at the same time, man, yeah, we'll get back on here later, man. If not, I still might come back on. I enjoy doing this, so just hit that like button for me. All right, Pacquiao fighting who? I did that one. LOL, if Pacquiao beat Triple G, okay, I did that one. Do you agree other boxing commentators say Manny never have good technical boxing? I think they use that for views. I think other channels, sometimes they use Pacquiao's name for views. Other channels, a lot of them are backed by certain fighters or certain magazines who back certain fighters. So they got to spread a certain narrative to keep their fan base engaged. And to draw in other new eyes to their videos, they got to use Pacquiao's name in vain or say something derogatory about him to get people to click. So, hey, it is what it is. Everybody knows Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters ever, if not the best fighter ever. Cardinal, in your honest opinion, do you think Marquez was on juice when he KO'd Pacquiao? No, I think they would have caught him. Because of the significance of that punch and the fact you've never seen Marquez do anything like that. I think that the whoever did that drug testing probably went back and redid his samples again to check and make sure. And if they found anything, it would have been out by now. I just think it was a perfect storm, man. Pacquiao came in, not moving his head. Like I said before, Marquez threw the perfect punch at the perfect time and stepped on Pacquiao's foot at the perfect time. And he just landed the punch of the year. Hey, it is what it is, man. Fortunately for Pacquiao, it didn't end his career. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for Manny Pacquiao. He got beat. He got knocked out. He got knocked the F out. And he'll never do that again, in my opinion. He just got knocked the F out, man. It was a perfect punch. Nice stream. I appreciate that, Shroom. Appreciate you came through last night, man. I appreciate you coming back through, man. In my opinion, you are a good commentator, man. I appreciate that, Alvin, man. I'm trying my best, trying to make it entertaining for everybody and give you guys real boxing news. That's one thing I hate about YouTube and some of these channels is you go to their channel and you're looking for actual news and they're giving you a bunch of drama and BS that you don't really want to hear. I'll be like, man, get to the news. Why are you talking about you kicking your dog this morning and what you ate for breakfast and you forgot to flush the toilet? I don't really care about that. I want to know the boxing the boxing news. That's just me personally, though. So when I get on here, I try to bring y'all real news or real news surrounding the fights, man. Y'all ain't getting on here because y'all want to hear about I tripped down the steps this morning. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all want to hear about Pacquiao's. I'm going to tell y'all everything I've learned about Pacquiao from that day, man. So y'all really enjoy your time that you spend with me, man. Thanks, man. You real cool. Marlon Mendoza. Everybody give Marlon a round of applause for coming through, man. Joining the chat, dropping a comment. I hope you hit the like button and subscribe. Everybody who's in here, man, please go subscribe to Cardinal Red Does It All. And any other channels, that I feature on my channel, like Caps and Full G. Go subscribe to him, man. Go show him the same support you would show me. He isn't going live yet, but he'll eventually be going live too and doing his own thing as far as live goes. But we're going to be doing more videos together and stuff. So go support him. Amir Ram TV. I like his channel. Go support him. Amir Ram TV. I believe that's how you say it. I like his channel. Counterpunch Boxing Talk. I mess around with Counterpunch Boxing Talk. I like his channel. Dante's Boxing Nation. Go check his channel out. He's a great commentator. I like his channel. Honcho Sports. Go support Honcho Sports. I like his channel too. Who else? Always ES News. I always support ES News. That was one of the first channels I ever ran into on YouTube, so I ain't got nothing derogatory or bad to say. Only thing I say to Ellie is stop putting Ryan Garcia on your channel, man, and he keeps saying that he gonna fight Pacquiao when this ish ain't happening. It ain't happening, man. Quit putting Ryan on your channel, man. It ain't going down no more. As far as everybody else, those guys do what they do, man. I ain't got nothing bad to say about them. I might not watch their channels, but those guys, they're supporting the boxing community. So, hey, support them too. Nothing bad to say about them. But all the names I just named, those are the channels I actually watch on my day-to-day basis. There's a few more out there that I watch too, but I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Do you agree Jeff Horn used his elbow, hit Manny face, and have blood? Man, Jeff Horn is one of the dirtiest fighters ever. He didn't deserve that fight in the first place. I'm pretty sure Bob Arum told him to go in with those tactics and use those tactics. Pacquiao still won the fight. He got cheated. That's all it really needs to be said about Jeff Horn. Kuyaja JTV or KUYAJTV. I'm from Philly. I'm from Philippines. Pacquiao will fight Triple G next for his legacy. This is legit. Hey, man, we've been talking about that all day. And if you got some inside news, let it be known, man, right now before I get off here. Wait, what's your sources coming from? KUYAJTV. If that's legit news and it's been confirmed, let us know, man, so we can let the rest of the community know. I appreciate that for you for coming through and letting us know that. But let us know where you confirmed that from. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Showbiz, the adult great channel also. You know, I don't have nothing bad to say about Showbiz. I will say this. He's a lot more animated than what I like, personally. I think that's the reason why he's blown up, though. I will say that in his defense. You know, I have nothing bad to say about him, but he's just more animated than what I like to watch, you know. But if that's what entertains people, you know, I don't hate nobody. I'm not here to hate on nobody. I would say go subscribe to his channel. Enjoy his channel as much as you can, man, because if that's what entertains you, that's what you come here for. You didn't come here to not be entertained, and, you know, that's what he does. He's really good at it, too, man. I just can't. I'm not that type of. I don't have that type of personality. Unfortunately for me, maybe I would have more subscribers if I did act like that. But you know, that's just not me, man. But he found him a lane, and he's doing wonderful in his lane. All right, man. It's been 2 hours and almost 30 minutes. 2 hours 20 minutes since I got out of here. I'm about to get out of here, man. Do you agree? Boxing is what did it say? Boxing is what? It didn't put the second part of the comment in there. I'm going to answer these last few questions, man, and I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate all 25 of y'all for hitting the like button. If you haven't currently hit the like button, smash it for me. Pacquiao that like button for me. That way we go out to more people and we can grow the community even bigger. If you haven't left a comment yet, man, drop me something in the comment section, bro. Let me know what's cracking. Yep, the theatrics is the reason, but still good. You doing good, though, man. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it, Rodolfo. Really appreciate you coming through, man, and sharing with the conversation, man, making the chat better. Do you agree boxing is mental, 80% and 10% physical? I would say it's 50-50. I would say you can't be an overthinking boxer, and you can't be an overtrained boxer. Either one of those out of balance, and you're probably going to lose your fight. Just look at Deontay Wilder. He's mentally out of balance right now. His mental's not compatible with his physical at the moment, so he's losing fights. And once he gets that back into balance, then he'll start winning fights again. Life is just a boxing match. Darth Vader. What's cracking, Darth Vader? If you got a channel, everybody go check out Darth Vader. I don't know if you do videos, but we're going to shout you out around here, man. You're going to have subscribers after today, son. Life is just a boxing match, man. You got to be mental and you got to be physical to get through life, bro. That's real talk. Life is a boxing match, man. If you face life like a boxing match, you'll come out on top, victorious every time. Pac says if Pac beat Triple G, then he win the unification fight, will become fighter of the decade. If he does that, man, forget about fighter of the decade. That man is cemented as the #1 name in boxing history forever. Nobody else is going to go 9 divisions. Nobody else is going to beat champions in the way he beat champions. He's the #1 name in boxing. If he can pull it off, I'll walk to the Philippines to shake that man's hand. But put it that way. I gotta meet Manny Pacquiao before I go. If he pulls all that off, I still gotta meet Manny Pacquiao before I go. But you know, if he pulls all that off, you know, I'll walk to the Philippines to shake Pacquiao's hand. Because that would be some legendary stuff. I got to meet Muhammad Ali on several different occasions. I'll never forget that. And if I ever get to meet Manny Pacquiao, I'll never forget that, man. It's been a real talk with y'all. I'm gonna get to these last few questions in the chat. If y'all got 1 or 2 more y'all want to drop, I'll wait 2 more minutes, and then I'm getting out of here, man. I gotta find something to eat. I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I really do. It's been a great conversation. I didn't think it would span 2 hours, but obviously it's a lot to talk about right now as far as Manny Pacquiao goes. And there are a lot of people who are who want to be informed about what's going on with Pacquiao. There's a lot of people who can't wait to be entertained by Pacquiao with his last few fights of his boxing career. Do you agree, Teddy Atlas? Wilder is number 1 all-time greatest powerful one punch. Of all times, Tyson. Nobody's gonna surpass Tyson when it comes to one punch knockout power. Nobody's gonna do what Tyson did. Tyson's the best. You probably put Wilder at number 2, but not number 1. Tyson's the best power puncher ever. One punch power puncher ever. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you, bro. Like I said, man, a lot of people came through. If I'm feeling up to it, give me about an hour or 2 or 3, and I might get back online, back on live, and we can chat a little bit more. Especially if any news breaks. If any news breaks, I'll definitely be back on here. Otherwise, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through. 25 people hit the like button. We had countless numbers of people come through here, drop awesome comments, and get wonderful boxing news, man. LOL Wilder has a mental in his hand, though. Wilder has metal in his hand, though. He's a good power puncher. I just don't think he should be relying on power. He should be working on his footwork, his lateral movement, and his head movement, and that would get him past Tyson Fury. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna take Pack you the last comment to come through, man. I'm getting out of here, bro. I appreciate y'all once again. Salute to y'all. If you want to be a part of the community, hit me up in the comment section, community section. Go follow my WhatsApp. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find me at, man. If you want to be a part, if you want to be in the videos, the live streams, hit me up, man. Let's conversate, try to work something out, and we can all work together to make something special. It's your boy Cardinal Red, man. I might be back on here if they drop any more news. If not, if I feel like it, I'll get back on here later. All right, y'all. All right, we got 2 more questions real fast. If the some Manny news pop up, show us. I got you, bro. I definitely will. Do you agree number 1 modern boxer defense is Crawford? I don't know yet. I don't know. I can't say it's Crawford. Especially not of all boxers. I say Crawford's good, man, but I don't know if he's the best of all boxers. Rodolfo says, please. See y'all in the next live stream. All right, y'all. We out of here, man.